Boom. We're officially live. I think all the things are working. Okay, that being said, guys, I'd like to introduce you to Samir, right? Somebody asked a very clear question. Do you not eat vegetables? Vegetables are just out there, wide open, for all of the germs to be touched. Where do you wash those? Do you wash those in the bathroom? Because technically, those are as dirty, if not more dirty, than your hands when you walk in the house. There's a lot of questions here.
I wash those in the sink because that's just where I wash food things. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but you realize that those are as dirty as your outside hands. I mean, your logic's unraveling. Is all I'm saying. Just something
I also pre-wash. But here's the thing. See, I pre-wash my sink. You ever like
pre-wash your sink?
You have to clean your sink too. For anyone who doesn't clean their actual sink.
No, you do have to clean your sink. You do have to clean your sink.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, if I'm gonna do food things, I will clean the sink first. So.
Okay, we're gonna let this ride, guys. I'd like you guys to meet Samir. If you did not understand who Samir was, you just got Samir in a nutshell. He's very, very special, and I could not run this Zoom without him. Now, why is that important? Well, as we were saying a minute ago, we have spent hours upon hours upon hours here in this Zoom doing what? Trying to do a couple of things. One, not only get you really, really good at having conversations with sellers, which is super important, but to let you guys understand the value of a good community. It'll change your life. It'll definitely change your life, because if you have a couple options, you can come into this Zoom and you can watch, lurk in the corner with your camera off and be weird or antisocial or whatever, and then go and take what you learn and go do other things. And you spent your money to join Sub 2. Do with that journey what you will. However, I highly, highly advise to an alternative. And that alternative is make the most out of every second in this Zoom, guys. This Zoom is money-making activity if you choose to make money while you're here. It 100% is. If you do that, however, is entirely up to you. I hope that you do. Because if you do, what you're going to find is that you're going to come in here and you're going to do like Savannah did. First time she got into the Zoom, she just came in here and she raised her hand and she participated and she was not afraid to embarrass herself, right? And in her attempts to embarrass herself, she didn't. She actually impressed a lot of people and demonstrated that even though she's new to this community, she is not new to this to human interaction. And she did a fantastic job. From there, Savannah joined my team, has been on the team for a while now, and through all the ups and downs that happen in life and in real estate, she's become a very important part of our team, right? And obviously, we'll let her speak to that to whatever extent she wants. But as a result of that, just as a little highlight, Yvonne, who is extremely skilled in a lot of things, but one of those things being crafts, decided to do something really special for Savannah. Savannah, go ahead and open that box and do it live on Zoom for everybody here.
Lala wants to do it with her little key.
Okay, do it. So you're not going to let her hold a razor blade?
Yeah.
It's not the key. It's not mine, but it's the keys from your
okay.
Thing.
Yeah. Do you want to open it?
Yeah.
See if it's sharp enough.
I like it. I like
She's
it.
She's like, is this a trick? Are we going to get pranked?
You are getting pranked. It's going to be like one of those exploding snakes.
There could be a doggy inside.
That would be weird. It's not impossible if we're being clear though.
Oh. I never get tricked. I don't.
Lala's also really excited because she heard that you are putting this on YouTube and she wants to be a YouTuber so bad.
Well, now she is a YouTuber. You're officially a YouTuber. Like and subscribe, everybody.
Do you guys want to see? I'm so sorry. I'm like not even showing you that unboxing.
All right, guys. It's not a glitter bomb, but that would have been a really good idea.
A glitter bomb. You want to take it out? What is it? What is it? Oh! 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 Stop! I'm so.
See that? Can I see?
Do you see what that is?
Wow.
What is that? Tell everybody what that is.
I drew something like that.
Lala drew that picture of me winning the closers competition.
So, just so you guys know, she drew that picture. What's it say? Closing queen.
Closing queen, and it's my cotton candy colors.
How?
This is the sweetest thing anyone's ever done. I mean, your picture was very, very sweet, but this is so cool.
Look at the lid, by the way. Look at the lid. Yvonne custom made that lid, too. All of that is 100% custom made.
So, how did that happen?
You guys, if this isn't good enough luck to win the competition, like, that's Oh
Yeah,
my
you have to win with that now.
So what
God.
Yvonne did is Yvonne saw
Wow.
that Savannah's daughter drew her a picture, and Yvonne, with her skills, extracted that picture from the interwebs and put it on the cup. So that's her daughter's drawing on the cup. Super, super cool.
Wow.
It's because you're a great drawer. That's how you say that, right? Drawer. And that's why it's a
Artist.
cup.
Most people would say artist,
But I said drawer. Let me use my
Where
own
is
words. Tyler.
Yvonne? Oh my God, I want to cry. That is like the sweetest thing ever. It's even bedazzled. Look at this, you guys.
It's 100% bedazzled. I promise you, the lighting does not do it justice. That thing is fancy. But anyways,
How did this
I'm
just
sorry.
happen?
no, but here, guys, like the reason why I wanted Savannah to open this here is because we just wanted you to know we appreciate you.
Oh my God.
How did this happen?
That's the best surprise ever, right?
Wait.
I was not expecting that. I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you so much.
100%. Well, wave, at least wave. Yvonne's
And
antisocial.
make-
I know. I'm like,
so
can
the,
we get a hand?
the best
Hi.
you're gonna
Make sure you wash that in the sink and make
No,
sure
in
you
the bathroom.
pre-wash
You
the
have to
sink
wash it in the
before
bathroom.
washing that.
you have to
It's an
bleach the
outside.
bathroom because it's been
Feel so
outside.
seen.
This is gonna be my like official nightly dial mug. Now we're
Let's go.
I can like.
But this is why we did this, guys, because at the end of the day, you're going to meet some of your best friends, some family, and some people you're going to get really, really close to in this community. If you're new to this community, don't miss up on the opportunity to do that. I promise you, you're missing out. If you're just sitting here quiet and you're not tapping in, you're not communicating, you're not turning your camera on, you're not making it a point to comment in the chat, you're not making it a point to interact with people, I promise you, you are leaving money and valuable relationships on the table. So while we are, again, there is very few places, if anywhere on the planet, that you're going to get better coaching on how to have good conversations with sellers in this Zoom right now. I think what's more important to that is the relationships that you're going to be able to build by being here. And that's what's special about this. And so I wanted to take a minute to show that just so you guys can see. I really hope you guys take advantage of that. I hope all of you guys are able to come back to this or many, many other Zooms and demonstrate the great relationships that you've developed in this thing. When Pace says some of his best friends came from this community, he's not lying. And I promise you, that's the same for all of us, right? Like it's definitely like family. So that being said, that's why you guys are here tonight. So what's going on with the club, with the nightly dial? Well, not only are we doing all that stuff, right? Not everybody getting a cup tonight, but some people are advancing. What are we doing? We're doing this little thing called the closers. The agent outreach is not happening today. What we're doing is doing what's called the closers Octagon, right? So this is a competition where we're seeing who has these skills. You guys ready for a surprise? I'm gonna give you guys a surprise. Nobody in this Zoom knows what I'm about to tell y'all, right? This is a little competition, right? I started these competitions like 3 years ago in Sub 2. It started out accountability group versus accountability group. I didn't realize how impactful, how enjoyable, and how much these competitions would mean. And so we did a number of them. Then I ended up in the Closers Olympics. Munif was in the Closers Olympics. And throughout all of this time, as I've said many times before, Pace was like, dude, you got to bring that competition back. You got to do it bigger. And that's exactly what we're doing. So last month was Open Run. Anybody who wanted to try out in Sub 2 could try out to compete in this competition. This month, everybody who made it is competing for the opportunity to go and compete next month, the day after the Golden Ticket event, against some of the biggest names in this industry to see who is the best closer in real estate. Now, a lot of you guys know that Pace was one of the first people to sign up to compete in this thing, which means that the people who make it are competing against Pace. But I also got a text today. I reached out to somebody about being a judge. And they said, while they're open to being a judge, they may actually want to compete. Tyler, you want to take a guess as to who I might be referring to?
Does he live in Arizona?
I can't answer that.
Oh, come on. Give me one
Can't
name.
answer that. Just pick a name.
Steve
Not
Trang.
RJ Bates. Huh?
Steve Trang.
Not Steve Trang. Love Steve Trang. Not Steve Trang.
Brent Daniels.
Also not Brent Daniels. Not Jeremy Davis. Stop it. He will probably compete in the next one. No.
Andy Elliott.
The one and only Jerry Norton.
Yeah, baby.
Jerry Norton, one of the OGs in this entire industry, is talking about maybe competing. If he doesn't compete, he's going to be a judge. Either way, he's involved. Vina Jetty's another judge. Brent Daniels may or may not be involved, depending on his schedule. He definitely wants to be involved. But yeah, Tyler, I don't know. You think you could take Jerry Norton?
Oh yeah. Of course.
Oh, shots fired. Do you think you could take Pace?
Pace is on a whole nother level.
Have you heard Jerry's calls? Jerry is nice
Yeah.
on these phones, man. Jerry
No, I
is not
haven't,
to be slept.
but-
You haven't heard Jerry? I need you
No.
to stop immediately after this Zoom and go to Jerry Norton's YouTube channel and listen to some of his calls. Jerry Norton's Jerry Norton for a reason, bro.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, he's
Okay.
also been in the game for however long as well.
Since before you were born, because you're a child.
Exactly.
Okay.
So have you.
It's so funny to me to hear the just overt confidence in people that are competing in this thing for no reason whatsoever, but it is for a reason because you're Tyler Townsley. Obviously, there's a good reason for it. But it'll be good. It'll be good to see. That being said, guys, we're doing a competition tonight. Every single night, we've had different people that are getting ready to go. Those people are competing. They're participating. They're doing all of the different things. And we got 3 people or 4 people that are going tonight. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you're here and you're going tonight, can you raise your hand in Zoom? Raise your hand in Zoom. Uh-oh, Stevie's going. Let's go. Raise your hand in Zoom, Stevie. We'll get you up here. We're going to do one thing before we do that. Hold on. Let's go to gallery. So we got Jeffrey Thompson, the closing integrator, coming up here. He's got integrator vibes, whether you like it or not. Stevie is not raising her hand. We'll get her up here in a second. It's Stevie, Jeffrey, and Savannah. Who else? I know Theo may be coming. It's unclear.
Savannah's going today?
No, Savannah's
No,
not going
no.
today.
I know at first when he said that, I was like, wait, was I just volunteered?
Savannah,
I
who else?
guess I
Who
made a
else
good
was
enough
it?
mood I could. It said Jeffrey Thompson, Caroline Bow, Stevie Brown.
Caroline Vo. She's been super sick, so we'll see where she's at.
Yeah.
Savannah,
then
can
maybe
you do me a
Theo.
favor and go into the chat and tag Caroline and see where she's at? Tell her that as an A-type personality, she's doing a horrible job at being punctual, and it's not a reflection of her character. That being said, let's go ahead and we're going to do something else. So, Tyler, did you hear about how I got the other day? I told you guys about that, right?
No.
Okay, so I decided one night, like last week, to go. I wanted to go, right? We had some extra time at the end. It was coming up. I was like, let me role play. I'm not competing, unfortunately, because I'm probably going to have to be a judge. But I'm a competitor still. So I'm like, all right, let me do it. Let me see what happens. And so Cassandra and Angie and Savannah all decide to concoct this ridiculous scenario to throw at me. And Savannah calls me as I'm still salty, bro. Salty, like corned beef.
Okay. It was ridiculous, but it was totally realistic. That could totally happen.
Yes, totally realistic. So she calls me as a drunk dude, right? First of all, her bass level in her voice is not realistic for me to think she's a dude. Then Cassandra decides to come in here and judge me harshly for not broing out with the drunk dude. I didn't even know she was a dude. So what was frustrating, there was a lot of things that was frustrating about it. All in all, it was for fun. It's not an actual score. But as a competitor, I'm like, I want to get the fair scores. And I did not, I got a full-on all-the-way follow-up. And Cassandra graded me like a 3.75. Like, for what? Like, I scheduled a follow-up. Where's the 3.75 coming from? It was right, Dima. I appreciate you. So what we did is we had closer extraordinaire Jeff Smith go and reevaluate the calls, which he's willing to do for everybody. He is one of the leaders in this competition currently competing. Jeff, question for you, man. How do you feel about potentially competing between Pace Morby and Jerry Norton? Does that give you a little bubbles in the tummy?
I mean, but between them, no, I'm not between. Like Pace and Jerry are here, and then there's like this, saga of experience, and I'm like here, roughly.
Fair enough. That's probably the same for all of us if we're being fair, right? Those guys they are who they are for a reason. But you still are one of the front runners in this competition, and the chances of you making it to Arizona are extremely high. So I appreciate you taking the time to review my call. Very interested in hearing your feedback on it.
Yeah. So This call, guys, if you want to listen to it, go on to the YouTube, onto Daniel Cahano's YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to Daniel's YouTube channel, one, shame on you. Two, just go do it.
Do we get to listen to it first and then you're gonna grade it, or is it just like a grading?
I don't know, Jeff. What do you think? Should we let them? It's 6 minutes. Should we let them listen to it, or do you want to just get to it?
You know
We're
what?
still
I
waiting
think
on
that
Caroline.
actually would be good for context because there's probably quite a few people who.
Okay. Do you?
I want to hear this drunk dude.
Do you by chance have it queued up?
Yeah, I got it.
Perfect. Let me give you co-host, and you can just share it. And guys, in the chat, I need you guys' feedback on this. I would play Cassandra's judging on this, but it's just, you know, I wish Cassandra was here because I want to throw shade to her, not.
What
behind
was
her.
your total score?
I was half a point in second place
From Gomes?
from Jeff. Gomes hadn't gotten.
From me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that changes, and I don't know if that swayed Jeff's judging at all. Jeff operates in extreme integrity, so I doubt it. But Gina, salty, zero shame. It doesn't even count, but I literally was angry for like 3 days about that score, bro.
Bro, you're still angry.
I'm still feeling a certain kind of way.
What are you talking about?
John, I will not let it go. It's not happening. Judge me if you want to. I love it. All right, so Jeff's going to pull it up. We're all going to be able to listen to this thing.
Yo, one day you should pull up that call with you and Lombardi.
Oh my God, I got to find that thing, bro. That was hilarious.
Oh, man. Oh,
So, guys, anybody on here? This is again. Go to Daniel Quijano's YouTube channel. Subscribe to it if you haven't already. This was from last week. This is Savannah. Okay. I don't know where the hell she got this motivation from. She knows the motivation. The judges know the motivation. And then Daniel is just thrown into the thick of it. And here goes nothing.
Yeah.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, Savannah. My name is Daniel. Was given a note by somebody on my team. Sounds like you were interested in selling your property out there on Aspen Street. How's everything going?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Aspen Street. Yeah, that one's for sale. You want to buy it?
That depends. How many do you have for sale?
My house, yeah. My house on Aspen.
Okay.
Come buy it.
Okay. So, Savannah, you have a house on Aspen. Do you have other houses, or is this your only one?
No, this is my only house.
Perfect.
And I don't want it. Come take it.
Okay. I'm happy to do that. Tell me a little bit about the situation. Why do you want to sell?
Where should I start?
The beginning's good.
Where should I start? Yeah, the beginning when it was better than it is now. But yep, my effing wife, she was effing around, and now we're ready. I'm gonna sell this house. I'm gonna sell it and take all of the money.
Okay. You're going to sell it, take all the money. Is the house in your name? Is it also in your wife's name? What's that look like?
It's in an LLC, and I'll sign. I don't care. She's not getting a penny. She's not
Okay.
getting anything.
Is anybody else an owner in this LLC, or is it just you?
Just me. She's on it, but I'll take her off right now.
Okay. Well, that's not usually how that works. Normally, if they're a part owner of a company, they have the say on whether they get off of that ownership. What makes you think you can just take them off?
She's a whore. I don't want her on anything.
Well, I'm sorry that that's the situation, and I can't imagine how tough what you're dealing with is. So I'm sorry you're going through this situation in the first place. Let me ask you this. Other than you being upset about your wife's actions, is there anything else going on that's pushing this sale forward?
Pushing the sale forward. I'm not sure what you mean. What were we talking about? I can't hear Daniel. Did you mute?
Oh, I apologize. I got another phone call and I couldn't go in. No, I know what I was saying is, other than, well, let me ask you this. When is a good time to get into a phone call with you and your wife to talk about this situation?
She's probably with her lover right now, but you can try if you want.
Okay, why don't you do this? This is my cell phone. Can you text me her number? I'd love to get on the phone with her and chat about the situation. If she's
Okay.
available now, we can call her now, but otherwise, I'm happy to call as soon as we get off this phone call.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So let me ask you this. How much do you want for the property?
How much can you give me?
That just depends on what the property's worth. Have you thought about that? Have you done any real research, or are you just kind of looking for whatever somebody offers?
When I got into it and ran my numbers, the ARV was going to be 850,000.
100%. Okay. Well, it sounds like this may not be the best time to have this conversation. It sounds like you may have been spending a little bit of time by yourself, thinking a little too hard about what you're going through, and I get that. That happens to the best of us. But what I can tell you is that if there is a way to help you with this house, we are more than qualified to do that. But in order for us to
Oh,
get
what
that,
makes you qualified, huh? I
It's
thought my contractor was qualified to get the job done, but all he does is screw my wife.
well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's definitely not something that we do here. But what I can tell you is we can buy the house if the situation is right. Let me tell you what we're going to need from you in order to get that done. One, we're going to need to make sure that everybody who owns this house is a part of the conversation. From what I understand, that's you and your wife. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Second thing, number two, is we're going to have to do it when everybody's a little coherent. And it sounds like maybe you're not in the best frame of mind right now. And I understand that. You're going through something tough. When do you think is a good time to have a follow-up conversation with you where you can think about this from a fresh perspective and we can talk through all of your options?
Come over anytime, buddy. We can crack open a cold one.
Okay. Can we do it without the cold ones? When's a good time where the cold ones haven't been accessed yet?
Um, can't answer that.
All right. Well, that's going to be a factor. If you want to sell the house, we got to get that taken care of, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to schedule a follow-up. What time do you normally get up in the morning?
Whenever, a little.
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. How about I call you tomorrow at lunch? Do you think lunch will be enough time to get you before the beers?
Okay. All right.
Tomorrow at lunch. I'm going to call you tomorrow at lunch. I'm going to call your ex now. We're going to get some real information on this deal. If I can help you, I'm happy to do it. And if I can't, I wish you the best of luck. Sounds like it's a tough situation, but we're just here to help where we can.
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever you say.
Yep. Do you have my phone number? Did it come through on the caller ID?
Yep.
All right. Save that. My name is Daniel. You got that?
Got it.
Perfect.
Dan the man.
Dan
Yep.
the man.
Dan the man.
All righty. Well, you have yourself a great day. Don't drink too much. Bye.
Cool. Dan.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Daniel. So how do you feel you did?
Let's ask Jeff Smith how he thinks I did, since he's giving the feedback in place of Cassandra for this one. You guys, feel free to put your feedback in the chat. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts. Jeff, go ahead, man. Hit us.
The difficult part about any of these competitions, guys, is you have 6 minutes on the clock. We can't do everything that we wish we could. However, in those first 3 minutes, you have to be diving into the motivation or you are totally screwed in this competition. It just is what it is. So with this particular scenario, what Daniel is starting to hear is about, like, wait, there's an ownership of this property, there's this, it's owned in an LLC, this is going on. So Daniel can assume right out the bat, okay, this is some investment, maybe they were flipping it, obviously it's gone south. And so the other thing is that I have had so many of these calls where the person on the other side is like so irrational and just crazy that you can't help but get annoyed with this after about 4 minutes. And I think for you, Daniel, like, you're listening to this, you're like, this is so batshit insane, and it's funny. And then it, like, you naturally descend into like, okay, you freak show, like, dude, sober up. I can't talk with you. It happened. Like, I get annoyed sometimes with sellers. So It's hard, but that's kind of where I feel like this starts to hit. I like that you're trying to be empathetic when it finally comes out. Like my wife is screwing this other guy, but I think we probably need to crank that dial up another couple notches to break through and be like, bro, I am so devastated for you right now. I can't even imagine how that hurts. Here's what I need from you though. If you can give me 3 solid minutes, we will figure out what the next step is to get you out of this hole. Because she kind of had this shield up the entire time. Yes, it's kind of the drunkenness, but I never felt there was a true breakthrough on the rapport here. It's kind of what I was
let me ask you this, your opinion, and obviously you're going to give your feedback. But one of the reasons personally why I just didn't go that direction with all of that is because all of that assumes you can be rational with a drunk person, right?
Right.
And so what you risk is not only in real life, but especially in a 6-minute role play, you get too open with the rapport, and now they're balling going off the deep end, and you can't bring them back, right? So is there value in just keeping it surface level and kind of as clear as possible? That was my thought process, but definitely open to hearing your thoughts on that.
And that's the difference between a real conversation versus a competition. In a competition, the role play seller, like Savannah knows she can't tear off too much because that's just unfair and unreasonable, right? If you ask kind of, the idea is like we, as closers in the competition, we kind of knock on the door with our question, and if it's the right key, the seller should open up the door and let us go forward. That's the idea. On a real conversation, even so, I might still go for it because I still haven't made this connection yet. So that's kind of my feeling here. That being said, the only thing, and I understand why Cassandra gave her scoring. Okay, I understand why. Here's what it is. You set up the follow-up to the extent that you could. Solid, this is the time, this is what I'm doing, save my phone. You did everything on your part. The only problem is that Savannah, in kind of her state, I don't believe she's actually going to answer the phone tomorrow. That's the only problem there. I think the grading is a bit harsh on that, but that is kind of where I feel like that happened. Anyway, my whole point is, and I kind of hate to do this, but I feel like this seller is so out of bounds from the scope of what all the other sellers have been, which is
100%.
pushing forward. It's not really a fair score over. It's not, we're not comparing apples to oranges. We're comparing apples to insanity.
That's very, very true.
So anyway, the adjustment I would only do is something for this. I might crank up the empathy one more notch just to try and bash through it one more time. And then the other thing is when she's saying stuff like, well, ARV was 850, you can assume pretty quickly, it's like, okay, hang on a second. So Savannah, are you telling me that you and your wife tried to flip this thing and it's just gone to shit since then and you want to, is that what's going on here? Or is there something else about this really screwed up? And then the LLC, the only thing with the LLC, like I know it's like you can't kick out the ownership. I may have just asked one, was like, okay, so you think you can push her out. Tell me more about how this thing is structured. And that may have also unlocked some opportunities. Anyway, end result, I'm just like, this is a null. I think this is needs to be a redo and give Daniel a fair shake at this.
I appreciate that, man. Tyler, Eddie, what are your thoughts on this? It's interesting. It's not realistic, right? For the sake of the competition. But it could happen in real life, right? Like we've all probably talked to people who are not in the right frame of mind. So from y'all's perspective, what do you think? Do you leave it neutral and take the direction that I did? Do you kind of push in to see if there's a little bit more that you can get within the 6-minute time period? I'm interested to hear y'all's thoughts in that.
I have an opinion.
For me, I probably would have. I don't know. He said I caught on when he said wife. I probably would have tried to build some rapport and like, oh my gosh, what the hell happened? Like, she screwed some other. Like, I would try and be on his side, and probably a little less serious because I know he's drunk, and I've been around a lot of drunk people, like family, friends, to know that, you know, when you're serious, it's really hard to get through to them, kind of like what Jeff was saying. And so I don't know. I'd have to be in that situation, but if I knew someone was drunk, I would try, you know, bumping up the energy and just like getting them to laugh or do something else, because I know drunk people are Drunk people are crazy, so you gotta say some stupid crap
Now,
sometimes to get them on your side.
doing that, you risk it going completely off the rails and
For sure.
completely losing all of the other things for the sake of the competition. Do you do that anyways and risk all of those other things to gain the extra half a point to a point in rapport?
I'd have to be in that situation. I don't know.
Fair point. Eddie, what about you, bro?
I don't know. I think that was a hard one overall. Honestly, that was one of those situations where like you can only take it so serious without actually just saying like, because the reality, you handled it where you, like if that was a phone call, I can almost tell you right now, you probably would have been like, okay, great. Like, how can we get another conversation going when you're not in this level headed, right?
Yeah.
So, and so in this situation, honestly, I think you did as good as what most people, I would say, probably would have not done. You did above what I would have expected you to be, right? I would have taken it a little bit less serious, quite honestly, just because of the level of the character that was. But the way when you handled that, I think that was pretty. I think that was pretty easy. I like Jeff's feedback in regards to like because they're drunk, you don't want any friction at all. So when he said like, yeah, I'm gonna kick him off the business, and then having to say, well, that's not how typically something works. Like it's already like drunk people. It's like, well, you can't tell me what to do, how what works, what doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So it's more like even though like it's one of those
You can't tell me I can't swan dive off this bar stool here. Watch me.
So by Jeff's feedback saying like, yeah, wow, that's tell me a little bit more. How are you gonna do that? I'd love to do that. I got a partnership like that too. And that's where that funny response would have been. But besides that, I think, I think that is a super tough. Like that's a super tough, unrealistic situation. Because I've had like when I was doing seller calls, I've had those situations where I had this one guy that was like, oh, weird. The first thing I was just like, look, I can't like hey, let's have a conversation tomorrow morning. When's a good time to call back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike, that's another thing too. You can't really trust any of the information when they're in that situation too, right? So, Jeff, did you by chance score that thing at all, or was it just basic feedback?
I mean, I tried scoring it, but again, I was like, look, like my score, sorry. If all of the sellers in the competition were that crazy, I'm not entirely sure my scoring is too far off from Cassandra, but because it's so insane, there has to be a curve for the level of difficulty. So I was like, I can't fairly grade this.
So I'm still left in the abyss of not knowing what my real
So
score
you're
was.
still second place at the end of the day.
I mean,
and that's what's important. As long as he's a quarter point below me, then I'm
that's all that matters.
Keep in mind that the gatekeeper of first place was Jeff Smith, so strategically not the best play on my part.
Look at him. He's growing hair. That's how he is.
Jeff's like, I'm gonna change the score. I like it right where it's at. So.
No, I'm dead serious though. Like I was like, what the hell? Like curved? Like there has to be like this difficulty is so much. Is it like a 1.2 point? I'm like, I don't freaking know. Like this just needs to be redone.
Just leave it.
Just leave it and say hell with it. And like I can kind of stand on both sides of the cliff.
There you go. I respect the strategy, Jeff. In my head, I'm still in like first or second place, but on paper, I'm in third place. So I don't know. We'll have to do a redo for a real one. But tonight we don't have to do any of those because we have actual competitors going tonight. We got Jeffrey Thompson, Stevie, and Caroline. Caroline, are you feeling okay? Savannah, wash your hands. Do you have the spinner willy thingy ready?
Yeah, it's ready. Do you need that right now, or do you have it like?
No, we'll chat for a second. How long are you gonna be?
Like 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah, do your thing. Wash your hands. She's gonna poop, Samir. Samir hates the word poop. Samir doesn't think everybody poops, just so you guys know.
Sink. The other one, in the bathroom sink, please.
And go. So where's she supposed to wash her hands after this, Samir? In the bathroom sink?
Yeah, bathroom sink.
Yeah, that's the only appropriate answer.
How would you feel if somebody came to your house, used the bathroom, and then washed their hands in the kitchen sink?
Why are we having this conversation?
They're getting kicked out.
Can they fight is my question.
Why are we
They're getting kicked out for sure.
Do they know how to squabble?
Oh my God.
I love it. Caroline.
Like, were we in like second grade?
Look, we're killing time, Jeff. We're killing time, and I'm trying to figure out the full breadth of Samir's limits. Caroline, how are you feeling? Are you feeling better? Or are you still a little bit under the weather?
I am. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but I'm here.
You can't even talk. Are you sure you're ready to go tonight?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Caroline, you have the ability to postpone your day to one where your voice is actually functional if you would like.
Hey, I got a question. The elephant challenge is going on this week. What are we doing about?
I have mixed reviews on what we're doing. First, they told me, don't worry about it. We're doing this anyways. Then somebody else said, maybe we're not. I will find out by tomorrow.
Cool.
That's a big factor, obviously. To that point, assuming we're still good to go, Caroline, do you still
Yeah, I'm
wanna,
good.
you
Yeah.
just want to go? Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Let's go. That's a fair point, Jorge. That Samir, check it out. All right. So what we're gonna do, guys? Here's how this is gonna work. Savannah's gonna, as soon as Savannah gets back, she's gonna do a little
I'm
spin
here.
over.
Could you
Oh,
give me
okay.
host controls?
I can give you host control. So what she's gonna do, guys, is she's going to put a spinner wheel up, and she's gonna randomly select the order that the people are gonna be going tonight. Let us know whenever you're ready, Pumpkin.
I'm here. Wait, are you? Did I get called pumpkin?
You just got a pumpkin. Everybody gets it.
I'm officially a bro.
You're officially a bro.
Only his boys get called pumpkin.
It's true. It's true.
I'm in there. I got a cup.
Hey, I mean, you were a drunk bro.
You
the
were
other
a drunk
night,
bro,
so-
which is what got you over to pumpkin status. Samir's been a pumpkin for like 18 months at least. Same with Bash Bros.
Yep. We're a PMPK.
Can you see
N.
this?
N, just N.
N.
Yes, we can see it. All right, we're gonna just knock all three out. We'll see what the order is officially.
Okay.
Is it gonna be Caroline going first? Sorry, Caroline. Sorry, Caroline. I had a feeling.
All right, what's your next bet?
I'm going Stevie Jeffrey.
Man, DQ.
This is almost as rigged as the Packer and 49er game.
When you feel it, you feel it. We used to gamble when I was in high school with like flipping coins or flipping dollars to see what was going to be heads or tails. I stole everybody's money. It was crazy, dude. It was just weird, just predicting stuff like that. Okay, so it's going to be Caroline followed by Stevie. Jeffrey's following up last but not least. Here's how this works, guys. It's a 6-minute role play similar to the one that you heard. Unfortunately, Savannah will not be playing a drunk person this time. She's going to be playing an actual situation. What determines the situation that she's playing is also random. She has a random spinner wheel that you guys will not see that's going to rotate random seller situations. And then she has another wheel that's going to rotate random personality types. Yes, Savannah has as many personalities as her spinner wheel. Hide your kids, hide your wife. That being said, she's going to be picking all of those things at random. What's going to happen is Caroline's going to say ring, ring. As soon as Savannah says hello, the 6-minute timer starts, and Caroline has 6 minutes to score as high as she possibly can on all of the previously mentioned criteria. Does anybody have that criteria that they can throw into the chat real quickly so everybody can see what the scoring is going to be based on? Samir, you got it? Perfect. Samir's going to share it. What's going to happen is after we do the full 6 minutes, we're going to go live. Myself, and then Samir. How do you guys want to do this? Do you guys want to rotate?
You
back
can
and
let
forth?
Eddie tell the score this one. I'm sending out an offer real quick. So
Okay, so
I'll
we'll
listen
let
in.
it'll be Samir will not be scoring. Samir will be just doing the sherry and putting the numbers, right? Eddie, Tyler, and myself will be judging. Of all of the options that are there in the chat, it is up to 5. 30 points per person, 90-point score in total. The head score as of tonight is 80 and some change, followed by Jeff Smith in second place, me in my hypothetical third place, which doesn't really count, and then everybody else going from there. So Caroline, it doesn't look like you can formulate full sentences right now, but you're competing in a competition of your own volition. I respect the courage. That being said, do you have any questions? You do not have any questions. You sure? Savannah, do you have any questions?
No, give me just 30 seconds to send out the motivation to everybody.
Okay, so she's going to be sending out the motivation to us guys. Basically, the way it works is myself, Eddie, and Tyler will have the motivations in advance. So we know what Caroline is going to be shooting for. She's going to be graded on her ability to uncover accurately the situation that's there, very similarly to what you guys heard with my practice call. Asterisk, 100% Oliver. I mean, she had the opportunity. She did have the opportunity. And then, of course, the top 8 get to advance and compete against Pace Morby and maybe even Jerry Norton in this competition. Tyler, I partly want you to advance just so when you actually hear Jerry in a conversation, you're like, oh crap, okay.
Yeah, I know they're both freaking great, but you know, if I'm like playing myself like I can't do anything, then I'm not gonna do anything, you know.
Okay, I respect it. I respect
So
it.
I have to maintain some level of like.
You got to say it with your chest. You got to have the bass in your voice, Tyler, and I respect it. I respect it. You're already better than your partner at selling, which is really all that matters. Nothing? Interesting. Shots fired. He doesn't care. Savannah, are you going to send this stuff? Savannah, what are you doing, bro? It's the awkward silence for me. There we go. All right. So don't read it out loud, guys.
Eddie, she's not trying to wholesale a house right now.
Yeah, just in case you were unclear.
But you know, you always got to be on your toes. You never know.
I respect it.
Hey, you're right. Who's got some deals?
Holy crap. I like this one. No, Angie, we took a minute because Caroline was not feeling well, and we reviewed my drunk call from the other night that you're partially responsible for. Jeff conveniently did not score my call, so we genuinely have no idea if anything changed whatsoever. But, but that being said, we got the stuff, fellas. You got the stuff. You good with the things? Yeah, I really like this motivation. I really hope that the personality type matches this thing. That being said, Savannah, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, guys. Throw some love in the chat for Caroline. She's not feeling well. Don't give her any tips on what to do because it is a competition, but show her some love and support for coming out here under the weather and still trying to compete with this thing. Savannah, Caroline, whenever you say ring, ring, the ball's in your court.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Savannah.
Yeah.
Hi, Savannah. My name's Caroline. I work very closely with DQ, who you just got off the phone with. He mentioned that you'd be looking to sell 123 Main Street, so I wanted to give you a call and see if we're a fit for one another.
Okay.
Fantastic. How are you doing today?
Fine.
Great. I'm doing okay as well. Why don't we go ahead and take it from the start? What's got you thinking about selling?
I don't see how my personal life is relevant to why I'm, selling my house.
Yeah, let me ask it in a different way. Why are you looking to sell?
I have a house for sale. Why do you need to know my personal life?
I don't need to know your personal life, but in order for me to see if we're a fit, because as DQ had mentioned, we actually don't work with everyone. We only work with those that we truly believe we can solve a problem for. So in order for me to see if we can help solve your problem, I just want to understand a little bit more clearly your situation. And that typically comes in the form of if you could help me understand why you're looking to sell.
Okay, I keep getting a bunch of calls. People, they want to know all my personal life details, and I just want offers. I don't want to go back and forth about this anymore.
Yeah, I totally hear you. It sounds like you haven't had a lot of really good experiences with others, and I'm really sorry for that. For the next few minutes, it's just going to be you and I'm going to do my very best to be able to present you with a solution that you'll be happy with.
Okay.
Does that sound like that could work?
All right, just what do you need to know?
Yeah, so are you selling because you're looking to move or because you need the money for some particular reason? Or tell me a little bit more about why you're looking to sell this particular home.
I have some bad memories here, so I'm looking to move on, and it can be someone else's problem.
Bad memories?
Yeah.
Hmm. So you had some bad memories of this home and you're looking to sell it to make new memories, which I think is always an exciting adventure ahead. Can you share with me a little bit more about um, the house and the current situation? Is it just you in the home?
Yeah, I just live in the home by myself. I purchased it 2 years ago. It was a beautiful new build when we bought it. Situation has changed a little bit, so
Yeah, yeah, and I think that that makes sense. You said we. Can you share who the we is?
I purchased it with my um husband.
You purchased it with your husband. Okay, and your husband is no longer in the picture?
Um, no. Is that relevant to buying my house and giving me an offer?
Is he part of making the decision to sell the house? Is he on the deed along with you? That's the reason why I'm asking.
I can sell it. Yeah, I have full authority to sell this. It's not a
Just,
problem.
okay. So let me ask you, let's say I were to take a walk into the home. What are the major things I'd need to know about from a condition standpoint?
Uh, it does need some work. It does need some work. Mostly cosmetic. It's nothing like major.
Okay, so some cosmetic work, nothing major. And if you had to guess or even share where you'd like to be price-wise, where would you want to fall? Ballpark is totally fine.
Uh, well, when we purchased it last year, or I mean, sorry, 2 years ago, we paid around 460, but I think the market's gone up a little bit. But I want to do a little bit of a price, reduction because it does need some cosmetic work.
Okay, yeah, that's really fair and generous of you. So you'd be open to doing a price reduction from the 460 that you and your husband purchased it at about 2 years ago. Did I capture that correctly?
460 is what we purchased it for, but I think I'd be more comfortable like maybe 490.
490. Okay. And let me just quickly recap. So you and your husband bought this home about 2 years ago. You're looking to
Mhm.
sell it, make new memories. Not a lot of work needs to be done, just basic cosmetics. You'd be okay around 490. And how ideally would you look soon to sell it? If I came in today with an offer, would you be ready to move forward?
Um, yeah, if I could have just like a week to get some of this stuff out.
Okay, 7 days. Fantastic. So earlier at the beginning of the call, I said that we don't work with everyone. We just work with those that we believe we can present a solution. I definitely think that you fall into that category. So what I'd like to do, because I think that based on what you described, we have a couple of solutions. We can either go cash, we may be able to take a look at seller finance or creative, depending upon if you have a mortgage on it.
I mean, if I were to do seller finance, I would want like 20 or 30% down. I
Okay.
thought about it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense unless
How about I give you a call in an hour and we can reconvene then? Does that work?
in an hour. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much, Savannah. I'll call you in an hour.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a call under the wire, Caroline Vo under the weather, but not to be what's the word? Appreciated?
Underestimated.
Estimated. That's the word. That would have been so much better if I hadn't missed the word. That would have been like a whole bar. Missed opportunity. Kind of like the mirroring. Somebody said I should have mirrored the drunk call. We could have just both been drunk. Another missed opportunity. That being said, fantastic showing by Caroline. Really, really great job, all things considered, for anybody, let alone somebody that's super sick. Samir, go ahead and pull up the scoring sheet. We're going to go ahead and get the ball rolling on the scoring. For those of you guys who don't know, what the way we're scoring is, we're scoring on a couple of different things, right? Obviously, everybody here is going to have a different opinion, right? So, for example, with intros or different things, I may not necessarily be a fan of somebody's approach. That wasn't the case with Caroline. But let's say somebody has an approach or a style or a sales process or an intro that I don't personally love. I'm not going to grade them on what they did that I liked. I'm going to grade them on how well they delivered what it was that they did, right? And how well that was received for the person. So each of the judges are going to be judging on those parameters, but they're all going to have different perspectives. So you may hear different scoring from different people, mainly because of the fact that we're all different human beings. We have different opinions on stuff. And this very closely reflects what happens with sellers in real life. And that's why I think this is important, because some sellers may appreciate some things that other people don't. That being said, I'll go ahead and lead this off. Strength of intro, I'm going 4.85. I thought that was a good intro. Here's why. It was straight to the point, right? I'm not a big fan of the upfront contract approach. I don't like that sales process, right? That is a reflection of a sales process. I don't think that a lot of people, when they use that sales process, understand the elements that need to exist for that sales process to work functionally overall. I think if you don't have the right elements in place, you're using a sales process that doesn't have the legs that it needs. However, she delivered that process very, very well, and it was well received by the person. So I'm giving her a 4.85. There was a couple of pushbacks, and there was something she said in the transition that I didn't love, and that's why I didn't score it a full 5. But I think that it was quick, it was to the point, I liked it. Rapport building, I'm going 4.25, and here's why. Savannah was tough. I was actually surprised that you got as far as you did. Some of your ability to come back, which is why I'm going for objections, you're getting a 5. So many people would have folded like a lawn chair with the objections that she threw at you. They would have crumbled. You pushed through those things like nothing else. Hey, it's just me and you now for the next couple of minutes, and I'm going to do my best to help you. Masterful. I loved that line. And that's why I gave you a whole 5 in the overcoming objections, because those were your objections. Your objections were her personality type, and I think you skated on every single one of these perfectly, especially considering that in previous conversations, reds were not your strong suit, right? So I think you've done a great job at just even tailoring those. Fact finding and uncovering motivation. This is a tough one. So if you look into the chat, the full motivation was there. Seller's husband ran away with another woman. She's now selling their property, which needs the cosmetic work after she destroyed it in a jealous rage. They purchased together for 2 years ago, cash. You didn't get a lot of those, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm torn here. And fellas, I'm interested in your feedback on this, because you also got stuff that wasn't a part of the motivation, like the ability for her to do a seller finance and she would take a certain amount down, right? Like you got stuff that wasn't there. So you made up for that. Also, condition is really not that important in understanding things. I think the condition in this scenario was important to the story, not important to the deal. So I understand why you would have stayed away from the conditions conversations. It would have been helpful for the story from a rapport standpoint, but she had such a wall up, she really didn't make it realistic for you to get there, right? So it's just a catch-22, because you didn't hit a lot of them, but I do feel like you hit the majority of the important ones, and then you got ones that weren't there. I'm like at a 3.85 or a 4. Fellas, what are your thoughts on this? Like, I want your guys' feedback on this, because this is a tough one for the reasons I just described. It looks like you guys are kind of in the same place with me.
I did 3.75 for sure.
Yeah, from the moment that Savannah just started talking, I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be this is not gonna be easy.
Not at all. You guys will score it the way you want to score it. I'm gonna give you a 4 for it, because you pushed through. Right? Look, there's the randomized red seller. I'm gonna give you a 4 for it, just because you got. I don't know that anything that you missed had any impact on the deal, right? But I can't give you 5 because you just missed a lot, right? But you got extra stuff. If you hadn't gotten the 20% down, I would have had to score you like a 3.5. But you got something extra that I think was a good fact-finding piece of information. So I think that saved you. Oddly, even though I thought it was a bad idea to bring that up, it still ended up saving you, right? Presentation of solutions. That being said, I'm going a 4, right? I just think you did a good job with it. I was 4.25. I don't think you did the right job. I don't think that was the right time to present cash creative. I think with that personality type, the right next step was let me do some underwriting. I think you could, then it goes back to the sales process. I think you qualify for our program. I think it's an empty offer that doesn't carry any weight. It sounds good in a script, but not as an independent salesperson. And so, like, I would have probably scored you lower, but it just happened to work for you. So I'm giving you a 4. Strength of close and follow up, you got a 5. You got the follow up. Interested in seeing other people's opinions on this. Very good stuff. Very good stuff, Caroline.
All right.
Tyler, you want to go first or you want to go Eddie? Oh, whatever, guys. Tyler, go ahead.
Hear you.
All right. So I'll go next. So I did a 4 for intro. I did a 4.5 for rapport. I did a 4 for fact finding. I did a 5 for overcoming objections, solutions with 3.75, follow up 4.5. Strength of intro. I'm not the best. Like, and I'll be more than happy to. I'm the best with yellow, green, orange, purple, every other kind of selection besides red personality type. It's just a thing that's always like put like the people that Daniel says that puts a lot of people and it puts them that fold in those situations. Here's why. Your strength of intro, you were like, Tyler, yes. Great, Tyler. Boom, 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 boom. You did. I think it was probably the best intro I've heard so far up until now. But the big, long, awkward wait in between, right? I don't know. For me, I've always had an issue. I've always had bad feedback when it comes to having a big gap in the middle. Like, right, like when you said like the name, they responded, then there's like a little gap there, but then it shot in there, which is why I think you scored very, very well on that one. Rapport building. Honestly, for a red personality type, you did amazing for rapport. You can't build that much rapport with these people.
No.
The more you build rapport, the faster they get off the phone. Right? So I think that was the rapport. Your rapport was getting through it, which is great. Yep. Fact finding and uncovering motivation, I gave you a 4 as well. Again, there's a lot that we don't really pitch a lot of condition. We use that if it's like the last ditch, just trying to find some kind of ammunition. But I think you handled it very well. So that's why you didn't get the whole, I beat up the whole house because I was pissed off and jealous and whatnot. But just like, Daniel does say, you did bring up some other fact-finding abilities that she might be interested in doing seller financing, which is cool. Overcoming objections, 100%. If I can give you a 6, I'd give you a 7.
Yep, 100%.
The fact is that when the way she came off, I was like, ooh, this is a mean one, But you were just like, well, cool, that sounds good. You stayed calm, you stayed in control. You were just like, look, this is the reason why I'm going to go through this, and then, boom, you landed. I think reality, she softened up as you were as strict with her and upfront with her throughout the entire call, which is your overcoming objection presentation of solutions. I still don't think. I think that was your weakest part of all. But just because you weren't going to get there just off the 6-minute phone call, but overall you did very well on that presentation of solutions. Bonus strength to follow up. I'm going to call you back in an hour, and then just kind of like trying to cut it short, which is the only reason why I didn't give you the 5. Because, and to me, I would, like, if someone just says, hey, I'm going to call you back in an hour, there's a small chance, like, without even asking, or you're just telling me you're going to call me back in an hour, there's a small chance I'm going to answer that phone call because most likely I'm busy, right? So that's why I didn't give you the full 5, but I think the 4.5 is plenty to just because you got the actual, what do you call it? You got the actual next phone call.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. It was definitely rushed. I could definitely see why you do a 4.5 on that for sure. All right, Tyler, final thoughts, bro.
All right. I feel like you guys are, I don't know.
Uh-oh, Tyler disagrees. Let's go.
Well, here's the thing, because if I'm just judging it as if this was me that had this same exact call, I know these numbers would be different. And it's probably because I'm a guy and whatever, but
interesting take.
So I'm still gonna judge you the way that I thought you did, even though I can almost guarantee you probably would have handled it better than me. I probably would have got hung up on in the first 2 minutes, to be honest. But
100%.
Intro, I gave you a 4.0. Rapport. That's where I was like, I mean, at first it was like a 1, and then it got better and better and better. So by the end of the call, I mean, based off the personality, you weren't. It was really hard to build rapport with that personality. So I ended up giving you a 4 on that. Fact finding, I thought because we were supposed to judge based off of like the criteria we got out of the motivation, I gave you a 3.5 because there wasn't much that was uncovered. Although you did uncover other stuff, I thought it was, right around 3.5. Overcoming objections, I gave you a 4.0. Yeah, you were really good in terms of getting past her initial wall and then her next wall and then her next wall. I thought you did a really good job at handling that. Solutions, there wasn't much. There was the creative, seller finance, and then, well, we could do cash or we could do creative finance where we come in and do some seller finance. But there wasn't like a whole lot there. I give you a 3.5, and then follow up. I also felt like it was a little rushed, but you still got it. So I gave you a 4.5.
Let's go in an almost karmic return of events because Jeff did me dirty on my scoring. Caroline passes Jeff by 0.10 points, 1/10 of a point.
I will have to say, I have been practicing with Jeff Smith. So if anyone needs any support or help, Jeff has been fantastic.
Dude, I'm gonna go practice with Jeff Smith and then.
I know what I'm not doing for the rest of this competition. I've created a monster.
You definitely
Damn it.
did. Yeah.
You definitely did. Caroline, give us your thought. Give us your feedback on all the things, on all the feedback, on all the stuff.
Yeah, Savannah is so tough, and I think that like was interesting. Is like I guess like I felt more confident in the areas that I didn't practice, which is like her response and her reaction compared to the areas that I did practice, which I felt like was less genuine or like authentic because I just rehearsing it so much. So I actually surprised myself with how I was responding to her wall and then her wall and her wall again. So yeah, no, it was a really great. I mean, I'm still trying to learn how we can dive into the motivation because the motivation is so specific. And I thought that like when she had used the word we, it was like a little entry for me to be like, oh, you mentioned we, but I didn't know how to navigate further beyond that. So I think that that's still an area that I want to learn
Yeah,
from.
this is going to be a little bit more of it's a deeper response to this, Caroline. But so there's layers of sales training, right? And I said this example on one of my coaching calls the other day, where it's usually script focused, right? What do I say? Then it's process focused, right? Give me a framework, and then it's something else. And most salespeople don't ever get to the something else. Why? Because it's convoluted. It's less trackable. It's less structured. And that's why most people, especially with your personality type, end up shying away from that because they think, well, I'm doing good enough with a combination of step 1 and step 2. Why do I need all that extra stuff? Just tell me what to say, right? And that's fine. But then I go back to the question that I've used here a million times. Out of 10 deals, if you're closing 3 to 5 or 5 to 7, is that enough for you if you could be closing 10? And that's a very personal question. But that extra 10 is going to come to that something else. You just don't get there by having a good script or a good process. What to say is not what gets you there. And that's where it gets a little murky, right? But that's where I love to live when it comes to sales, because I realize that at the end of the day, that's where all of the magic tends to happen, right? And so to give you an example specifically on your particular call, you said the right things, but it just wasn't delivered the right way because you were focused more on what to say than the meaning behind why you said it. So when you said something like, when you were like, what was the word that you just said it just now? You said, when her husband died, and you repeated back what she said.
The we part of it? When
Yeah,
she had
correct.
wrote-
Yeah. So you caught, for example, that's a great one. You caught we. You were like we. Okay. In a situation like that, intrinsically knowing where to be comfortable being uncomfortable long enough for something to sit and get to that transition, that's a gift. That's a skill. But it's tough, right? And so sitting in that situation, you said we was the right line. But what happened? She didn't respond. She gave you nothing. And so you should have actually responded with the next step and pushed a little bit harder. And that would have required phrasing it slightly differently with a little bit of different tonality and being comfortable sitting there in the quiet for a little longer. And that's just something you don't learn how to do. I'll give you an example tangibly. When we used to do sales in the financial markets, the rule was, and people have heard this in sales, first one to talk loses, right? That happens here in real estate, but it happens less. In that scenario, we'd be asking for an ask. I want you to buy 100,000 shares, right? Perfect, right? So I want you to pick up 100,000 shares at X price. And then you just sit there quietly saying nothing. And it is so freaking weird, right? But I'll give you an example. One time we were doing this with a broker. I won't go into the whole example. One time we did this. I was the team lead on the floor. We were listening to the call because the pitch was going okay. So we had people around him. We were walking him through what to say. We finally were like, we're muting him out, like say this, say that. So he finally gets to the point where he was like, we tell him what to say. So he asks for the sale and he sat there quiet. And we were like, we muted his, we were like, shut up, don't say anything. Caroline, I swear to you, it was silent for like 2.5, 3+ minutes. Just quiet. Nothing was happening. Nothing at all. Like, it was so weird, right? And you hear periodic clicking. That's it, nothing. And everybody's just sitting there quiet, right? And then after like 3 or so minutes, you hear this. I just put my order in for X amount of money. You're lucky you didn't talk. Have a good day. And he hung up.
Oh.
If he would have said a word, the dude would have hung up the phone, right? Because it's a principle. And while that guy was dealing with another sales guy who understood the rule exists because psychologically, unconsciously, people relate to that stuff too. So it's just a different skill set. But with what you had, you did fantastic. And that just goes to show that you have an amazing skill set as it is. Whether you want to stay at 7 or make it to 10 is entirely up to you, but 7's still a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I ask you, because right at the start, and I know we've got others, she was like, basically like, don't ask me about my personal life, blah, blah, blah. How would you have tried to like probe deeper, knowing that you would need to get personal?
It really depends. I think you as a lady did a good job responding the way that you did, saying, look, for the next couple, I'm sorry you haven't had the experience. For the next couple minutes, it's just us. I think that's a fantastic way. Another way is so there's mirroring and there's contrasting. I think this is a scenario where it's okay to mirror, but I'm mirroring with a different tone, right? And so people don't talk about contrasting very much, and there's a science to it, but I'm mirroring with a contrasting tone. And so I'm coming in and I'm saying, look, Savannah, I understand that this isn't what you want, but I can assure you that this is the best way to get this job done. I do this every day. It may be unfamiliar, but if you can trust me for the next 3 minutes, we're going to get this done, right? And so all I'm doing is I'm slightly altering what you're doing by leading with firmness, but also credibility without having to boast about myself, saying this is what I do. I'm doing something like that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep, 100%. Loving the chat for Caroline, guys. We got 2 more people to go tonight. It's going to be a short night. We'll be wrapped up not too long. Next up is Stevie. Stevie, how are you feeling?
I'm doing good. She did a great job. I heard her before, so this is a little bit out of my box. I'm direct to agent, but I've been trying to do some direct to seller, so I'm excited. Let's go.
I love it. I appreciate it. Well, we're going to be going through the same situation. Savannah's randomized a seller situation as well as a seller personality type. She just sent the motivation to us. As you know, as soon as she's ready, you're going to say ring, ring. 6 minutes starts from when she says hello. And that's how long you have to make magic happen. Give us a second. I'm going to read through this thing.
Samir, are you tapping back in?
Still working on this, bro. If you need me to hop in, I can. But if you guys got it,
No, I'll just piss my pants real quick. You're good.
No, it's fine. Yeah, just do your job.
Yeah. I'll make sure to wash my hands too.
Please do.
Appreciate you, bro.
In the
His
kitchen.
sink.
in the
in his
kitchen sink.
sink.
And my leg.
Look at Jeff immediately uncomfortable. I love it.
I feel like Jeff low key is like where I'm at with this being an
They
uncomfortable
might be.
conversation.
Jeff may be very
appreciate
similar
you.
to you in the neuroses department. I could definitely see that.
I figured out why Nightly Dial takes 3 hours.
Now you understand. Now you understand. That being said, Savannah, are you ready on your side?
Yes, is the background noise too loud? Are we good?
We can hear zero background noise.
Perfect. Okay. I am ready.
Stevie, whenever you're ready, you say ring, ring. The ball is in your court.
All right, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Savannah?
Yeah, who is this?
Hi, Savannah, this is Stevie. You talked to my partner Chris about selling your house.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm the one that we actually pulled the trigger on, and I wanted to get more details from you. Is this a good time to talk?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay, sounds good. So, his notes were a little bit fuzzy, so can you catch me up to speed? What's going on?
Yeah, I guess I'm just having a little bit of trouble with the bank.
Okay. What's going on with the bank?
We had some missed payments, and so they're trying to do like a auction on it.
Oh, okay. So is it already when's the auction date?
It's actually on the 9th of next month.
Okay, so we have what? Maybe 3 weeks, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's not a problem. I deal with this all the time, so we can definitely help you out. In fact, are you looking to try to keep the house? Do you guys want to try to keep the house, or what's going on there?
I'm not really sure. I mean, how would we do that?
Well, we have a few different options. In fact, we've had people keep their house and even if they want to sell it, we could do that too. So, is it just you and your husband that make the decision on this?
Well, it was my ex-husband, but I got to keep the property.
Okay, so it's just in your name now?
His name is still on the mortgage.
Okay, so did you get it in the divorce decree though?
Yeah, I got to keep the
Okay.
house.
Okay, so you get to keep the house. Okay. So, yeah, there's several different options. So if are you able to pay the note if we're able to help you keep it?
What do you mean?
Well, you said that you want to keep the house. If we can catch up the arrears, would you be able to keep the house? Would you be able to make the payments to keep the house?
Yeah, but how would I pay the arrears?
Well, we're just going to look at all different options. So have you tried to take out a personal loan, get any loans from any family or anything like that?
Um, no, I don't. That's not really an option for me.
Okay, all right. Um, then let me ask you this. Have you thought about listing it with an agent? Putting it on the market?
I, I mean, I guess I don't really, I mean, I'm afraid because we don't really have anywhere else to go, after this. So I haven't really planned that far.
Okay. So yeah, if you put it on the market, you could probably, that would take some time, but how's the condition of the house?
Um, it's good. It's a little bit of an older house, but it's got good bones. Nothing
Okay.
major.
Okay. How much are the arrears?
Um, the bank one's 47,000.
Okay, 47,000. That's the big one. What are all the arrears?
That's just what the bank wants. That they want
Okay,
it. Yeah, they want it's like right under that.
it's right under that. So you have more than the 47,000?
No, I just rounded up.
Oh, okay, okay, so it's 47,000. So we would need to come up with the 47,000. So let me ask you this. If we could get the arrears taken care of, because the one thing is that you don't want that foreclosure on your record. It'd be really hard to get any kind of credit whatsoever. In fact, I just helped a lady and her kids with the foreclosure out in Texas, and we were able to catch up the arrears, get her out of foreclosure, put a couple of $1,000 in her pocket to get her an apartment. Does that sound like something that maybe if we structured for you, you would be interested in selling your house and let us take it over?
Um, I'm sorry, could you explain that a little bit more? I'm not quite following.
So if I take over the arrears and put some money in your pocket and get it out of foreclosure and get you an apartment, is that something that you would be interested in?
Okay. I haven't heard of this before, but I mean,
Well,
it
why
might
don't
be
we
an
set,
option. Is that like my only option?
well, at this point, it kind of sounds like it. So why don't we do this and we'll set up a call for tomorrow morning with my team and we'll structure the deal and I'll show you how much we can put in your pocket. Does that sound like something you'd want
And
to
that
do?
is
Yes.
time,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen. No trying to undercut the I can't talk tonight. Whatever. Good stuff, Stevie. That 6 minutes goes really, really fast. I'm not sure.
Man, under the gun.
Right? Samir, if you are ready to share your screen, Sunshine, we'll let the Bash Bros start this one off first tonight.
I was going to go through the whole process and try to save your house for you and everything. That was really quick.
Yeah, it definitely does go fast. Did you have a chance to practice any of the 6-minute role plays, Stevie?
I did not. No.
Makes
I can't
such
lie.
it
I'm
makes such
busy.
a
I'm
big
sorry.
difference.
Yeah, it does. It does.
All right, Tyler, Eddie, whoever wants to go first.
You got it, Tyler? Or you want to do it?
Yeah, I'll go. All right, so I'm just gonna run through the score. Well, no, I'll do each one separately. So for intro, I gave you a 3. I thought it was just like too slow. There was too many kind of like gaps between someone talking. Rapport, I gave you a 3.5. It was good, but there was still like a little bit. It was still like harder to like fully connect. I didn't feel like you guys were like right there, fully connected with each other. Fact finding. So I don't know if Savannah put in there everything, but you got most of them. Sellers in foreclosure, you got that. I don't know if we got the ex-husband or the I think you got the divorce. I don't know if you got the denied for loan mod.
She skipped the loan mod part. I don't know if she got that she's living there with a new person.
The husband,
Or the
yeah.
loss
So
of
I
income.
gave you 3.5 for that.
Tyler, what was the report again?
Report was 3.5. So 3.5, 3.5. Overcoming objections. I thought you did pretty good. I mean, she kind of threw some stuff at you. You came back pretty well. I gave you a 4 there. Solutions. You actually presented a good amount of you did present a good amount of solutions, options and solutions. I gave you a 4 there, and then follow up that wasn't fully connected. I gave you a 3 on that.
Eddie, you want to go?
Yeah. So, okay, I got intro was a 3, report was 3.5, fact finding was 3.25, objection overcoming 4.25, solutions 3.75, follow up is 3.25. So, intro, I'm not a big fan of the whole, you asked for their name, hi, is this Daniel? And then the second one was, yeah, you try to like almost try to connect, like force the connection, and then you asked,
Is this a good time?
It's just a good time to carry out, to have a good, or to have this conversation, right? That's definitely like the one part that everybody just, I don't know, like originally it was a cool thing nowadays, or beforehand, but it was like something we worked through. So just, I would stay away from that. They open the phone call, go into it and whatnot. Rapport building, believe it or not, so I felt like you were about like 60% charged all the way through, and then you guys weren't on that trust level of presenting the solution just yet. So that's why I gave you a 3.5. You were almost there, but it was almost like you were trying to force that rapport onto that person. And so that's why I gave you 3.5. Fact finding, uncovering motivation, I gave you 3.25 because for the most part, you did get very valuable, some of the more valuable information. The loan mod would have gave you the extra point. They did have a loss of income, fell behind and stuff like that. That's just part of like wanting to come back up. I can make the payments now, but I can't. But I would have said the loan mod is a huge situation because that would have been your way to say, hey, look, I can help you get in this house. These are the steps. Because I just went through this on a seller call, actually. We helped a seller do the same thing. And long story short, the JV guy that brought it to me, we told him, hey, we got to go do this. And he goes, we already did that. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, just go check on it again. And then we go to the day before auction and he goes, oh yeah, hey, he got accepted for the loan mod. And I'm like, did you ask him if we go through all this, or do we want to keep the property, or do they want to get rid of it still? And the guy goes, I'd love to stay in it now that I'm approved with it. Right. So that thing,
Right.
yeah, I just went through that, so that's why I gave you the 3.25 objection overcoming. I gave you 4.25 for the same purpose of every time she throws something at you, it wasn't like crazy like last phone call, but this phone call gave you something, you just overcame it, and you just moved forward with it. But that also stems back down to the forced rapport where you kind of forced your way over it. So that's why you still came over it, right? So the solution's 3.75. Reason I gave you 3.7 is because you pitched the solution. The one thing I would have said, I would have held back just a little longer until you had a little bit more trust, or two, had a little bit more clear talking with someone that doesn't know anything about real estate, to the point of just like kind of bringing her level of experience into the new solution, right? A lot of the times we try to explain like we are talking to one another, but really a lot of the times it's like, hey, I want to take this over and make it super second grader, because that's the level of expertise they have in this whole thing. Which is why she goes, wait, can you repeat that for me again? Because you turned her into that, like high school student when really she's in elementary school, right? And then follow up, I gave it 3.25. Reason for is you try to go for it, you just didn't get there just in time, but you still tried. You still presented the follow up.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Samir,
guys.
my scores are literally identical to Tyler's, except I gave her a 3.25 on follow up. And here's why, right? So, Stevie, again, this is a personal preference thing. One of the things that we run into a lot when we're getting into sales is we try to use our personality on every seller. And while there's an argument that says, well, don't you want to be yourself? Yes, that's true. But sometimes being the best version of yourself is being what that person needs. And sometimes that person needs someone that's different, right? And so the way you communicate is a big factor. So, for example, the intro, right? Like asking the person's name. I'm not as big of a stickler on that. I mean, it's an unnecessary thing. It opens up the door for a little bit of resistance. The one that I think is a big issue is just asking them if they have a couple minutes. It's just
And I generally don't do that. I hate that.
Slipped.
So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you get that. So that's where that came into play. I think you did a decent job on the rapport building. You are a much slower communicator, right? And you communicate at your pace. I think that if you can get comfortable with it, the skill set of learning to communicate at the seller's pace will really, really aid in the rapport. Because what you were saying was impactful. Your desire to genuinely help was noticeable, but it was lost in the gap of the communication style, right? And I think that if you had communicated the exact same things more like the person you were talking to, it would have not only delivered more effectively, but it would have been received more effectively, and the whole feel of the conversation would have gone differently, right? Because would you agree, Stevie, that it doesn't matter how much you want to help somebody if they don't realize that you're trying to help them,
Oh, yeah, agreed. Totally.
right? And that's the big thing,
And I'll
getting them
tell
to
you what,
realize.
yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is I looked down at my timer and I saw that I had like 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
so that
believe
would
that
be,
there's that much time too. I was like thrown off.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with all of y'all in the intro. That was terrible because I hate asking somebody if they have time. I don't want to ask their permission. I just want to go right into it. So
Yeah.
that is one of my pet peeves. So yeah, I absolutely get that.
No,
Yeah,
all in
all
all,
really good feedback.
yeah, all in all, it was a good call, Stevie, without question. Obviously, it wasn't enough for the top 8 in this particular circumstance, but I think you very clearly care about the people that you're talking to. I think that's always going to shine through. If it's something that you want to work on, I think just working on mirroring that pace a little bit better and being a little bit more intentional in that regard, I think it'll make a big difference. But I think who you are is always going to shine through at some point. So good stuff.
Yeah, definitely not my best, but I love it. Really fun, guys. Really fun.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. What's that?
You did good, Stevie. You got, I think,
Yeah.
first top 10 so far. So
Yeah, definitely good stuff.
I love it. Thanks,
last,
guys.
Last but not least, Jeffrey, wrapping up the evening. Jeffrey, how you feeling, man?
I'm a little nervous. I'll be honest.
A little nervous. Just a little bit. Not that big.
Don't worry, just a little bit.
All right. You know what it is. You've been here. You've been hearing the things. You ready to go on your side?
I am, yes.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
All right, Savannah. How about you? How are you feeling? Roman,
Good. Give me 10 seconds and I'll get this motivation out.
I did not see Roman on the list for tonight. All right. Final call for the night. And then after this, here's what I need everybody to do. I need everybody to go over to the wholesale hotline once we finish and tell them how dope the closer's Octagon was and put your votes on who you think is going to win. Savannah, are you typing out the motivation word for word?
Yes.
Why? They don't copy and paste where you come from?
I'm copying and pasting right now.
Oh, so you're not typing out the whole motivation.
Daniel Quijano, Dan the man.
Tis I. Dan the man. Remember that, Savannah? Remember that time when I role played and you were drunk?
Hey, Jeff. Jeff, are you going to be here for a minute?
Jeff won't judge.
Oh, okay.
Are you leaving? Samir, can you judge the final
Well,
one?
I gotta run to the bathroom.
well, you got a few minutes. Hurry up.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to be enough. We'll see. Depending on how long it takes for Savannah to send this freaking message over. Jeff makes fun of me for delaying time. He doesn't realize that the majority of the time what I'm doing is buying time.
Eddie.
Awkwardly.
Suspense.
Yeah, Dima, it's just people who tried out, brother. It's not necessarily.
Oh, wait. I almost sent it to Jeff. All right. Is Samir judging? Or are we just going to wait for
Let's
Tyler?
go.
Really quick?
Dan just got a deal under contract. Shout out to Dan. Good stuff, brother.
Oh.
You can split 10% amongst the leaders of the Nightly Dial for being just an environment of dopeness.
Good energy.
Jeff wants the lion's share of that because he has a lightsaber and we don't. So, appreciate you, man. All right, so the motivations are out. Okay. Do you think Tyler will make it back in time, Eddie?
Yeah, he's coming out of the bathroom in 3, 2, 1.
Let's go. Are you watching him in the bathroom? Does he go with the door open so you can watch?
Yeah.
I think they told me that they have just the clear bathrooms in the office. Just
You guys, come on. It's Monday. It's not Freaky Friday.
Jeff
Can you
is
guys
officially
calm down?
collapsing.
It's like those random drug testing things, when you're sitting there and all of a sudden, like an officer just sitting there staring at you, making sure you're not using fake pee kind of deal. Yeah, that's what it is.
I understand. It's like a pee test.
Yeah, pee test. There.
That being said, guys, there's power hour at the Bash Bros offices for those.
Every Friday night, and They also test the power of your stream, fellas. So just make sure you guys drink your prune juice and get the prostate right.
For those of you who want to come to the OG Power in Houston, that is not something we do. That is a weird spinoff these guys have created. FYI.
Yeah.
The original Power Hour in Houston, where it all started, they do not care about your pee situation. Noted, Jeff. I appreciate that.
With plenty of things to wash your hands and vegetables too.
Yes, hands and vegetables, kitchen sinks. That being said, all right, guys. Jeffrey, are you ready? Savannah, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so you know what it is. Once you say ring ring, Savannah says hello. You got 6 minutes. We have the motivation. Myself, Tyler, and Eddie are going to be the judges. You got 6 minutes to make magic happen and beat Caroline's score. No pressure.
No pressure. All right. Ring ring.
Hello?
Hi, Savannah. This is Jeffrey. I'm calling because my partner Bob passed me information. Looking at his note, something to do with you're looking to maybe sell your house.
Okay.
Okay. So this first call is very basic. I just need to gather the information needed to make you an offer. Are you opposed to that?
Is it going to take a lot of time?
No, I only have a couple minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so first let's verify the publicly available information. Sometimes it's wrong. So it looks like
Can I ask you really quick, are you a wholesaler?
No, I am not. I am actually looking to buy this house personally.
Okay, so you're gonna like live in it?
No, it's investment property. I think your house probably makes most sense as a rental, but we haven't totally decided what we do with it.
Okay.
Is that important to you?
I don't want to deal with any more wholesalers.
Oh, I understand that. So it sounds like you're being hounded a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, a lot of these guys, they're just trying to make a quick buck. And you know what they do? They lock it up for pennies on the dollar from somebody like yourself. They turn around and sell it to me, and they pocket sometimes like $100,000 or something. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, give me. So it's a 1,600 square foot house. Is that what I understand?
It's actually closer to 2,000, but public record says 1,600.
Oh, okay. And you've been there for, is it 2 years?
I actually inherited it from my dad.
Oh, okay. So it's been your house for 2 years, but it's been the family a long time.
No, this is pretty recent, but maybe
Definitely was at my finest hour.
maybe it went from like the trust or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. Like I said, sometimes this information is wrong. So is it just you on the deed, or is there family members as well?
It's like a court ordered sale.
Okay, but are there other family members that have to approve the decision to sell the house?
No, it's just me.
Okay, so you're the sole decision maker. Okay, that's good to know. So tell me about the house. How's the condition of it?
It's really, really old. My dad did stuff to it over the years, but he owned it for like almost 30 years. It's really old.
Okay, so it's pretty outdated, or are there any repairs needed?
I mean, I wouldn't live there.
Okay, so you just do not know the condition of the house, really? You haven't lived there?
It's just like really old, and he like
Okay.
did a lot of makeshift stuff, I think, or repairs or built stuff.
Okay, I see. So how long has it been vacant?
He passed away. I think it's 10 months now. It's been 10 months.
Okay. So I think the way this will have to go, we'll have to come inspect the house and see what the condition is. I mean, if you can take some pictures, that can give us a rough idea. But which do you prefer?
Yeah, I have pictures I can send you.
Okay, that'd be very helpful.
But I want like whoever buys it, I just don't want to go through this again. I want them to come look at the property, like bring your inspector or your appraiser or your contractor, whoever it is, like bring them to see the property because I just don't want you to give me a number now and then try to change it later. I'm just tired
Yeah,
of going through
I
that.
agree. Yeah, I understand the games these wholesalers play a lot of the time. So let's see. So timeline wise, you just basically need to just get rid of it as soon as possible, or
Yeah.
is there anything stopping you from moving forward? Like, is it still on probate or anything like that?
It's just I just have to sell it. Like I don't have the option to keep it. I wouldn't want to keep it anyway, but
Okay,
I guess it's just getting delayed and delayed and delayed because people are just wasting my time.
I understand that.
Like they call me, ask me a bunch of questions and
Okay,
give
so
me a
as
price
far
and
as
then it changes.
so what price are you looking for?
I'm looking to sell it for 380.
Okay, so like I said, we'll have to take a look at the house and run some numbers on it. When would be a good time to do that for you? Is tomorrow at um, 2 o'clock work?
I get out of school at 2. Maybe you can call me like at 2:30.
You want me to call you? You want me to meet you at the property?
Okay, we can meet at the property.
Okay, so like 3 o'clock tomorrow work?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, with time to spare, Jeffrey, how you
How
feeling,
much
man?
time?
Like 5 seconds.
Oh.
Good stuff, Jeffrey. How you feeling, man?
So I had this kind of idea I was gonna like run down public information, like try to get like mortgage information, all that stuff from them, like verify what I see on property idea, but that didn't really work out. But other than that, I think it went pretty well.
Where
I
did
was
you
also
get
trying to
the-
kind of like steer the conversation, a little bit. Like maybe I can make it steer it into a sub-2 deal or something. But anyways,
Interesting.
it's role playing, right?
Fellas, which one of you guys want to go first?
I can. I'll jump on it real quick. So number 3, I would say I'd give you a 3, rapport is a 2, fact findings a 2, objection overcoming is a 2, solutions a 2.5, follow-ups a 5. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the strength of intro. I felt like there was some like you were good at first, but then you asked, are you opposed to that? Like, is that something that's gonna bother you? It almost felt like little tensions towards me, little friction by asking that question. Like, oh, are you opposed to that? It just wasn't. It didn't really connect very well. It's not a very
What's
rapport.
called a no question. He read
Yeah.
a book about stuff like that.
It's a no question, you said?
Yeah. Chris Voss encourages questions like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time that causes friction a lot in the very beginning, right? Rapport building, I gave you a 2. I felt like you hit one, and I'm going to jump to the fact finding here. You hit one, so fell out of the contract 3 times. Okay. So she said this, that she was dealing with wholesalers. Clearly she already said this, but instead of asking about her experience on everything, you told her about what it typically feels like to deal with wholesalers, right? So instead of asking her to get her emotions on why she's feeling the way she's feeling, you told her how to feel. And that's a lot of the times where that's why I said on here where it says fell out of contract 3 times. I put you just asked and you didn't tell her. You told her the situation, not asked you told her what the typical is, right? And so by that, it's like she didn't feel really connected. I just felt like she was kind of like, okay, are you a wholesaler? Because it was very slow. These questions that were asking, very interrogation. I can see the whole questions that DQ are now saying. So the approach is the Voss guy. Never split the difference or whatever it was. But fact finding, I gave you a 2 because it's in a probate court. Property needs a lot of work and it's very old. Okay.
So I actually asked her if it was in probate, and she said no.
He did ask that.
Yeah, maybe I didn't catch it. Okay, so if that's the case, I'll give you a 3 there because you did ask for that. And then also the unpermitted additions and it won't sell. Like asking like, oh my gosh, why did it fall out of contract? Oh, because it's got these additions. Oh, you want my inspectors to go out there? Okay, why? What's going on with the property? Right. So I don't know. There's a lot of the overcoming objections. I'm going to give you a 3 out of 2. I apologize. I read the 2 twice. Because when she was overcoming something, you'd be like, yeah, again, you'd cross over the whole wholesaling thing. But the phone call was definitely a lot slower than usual. The questions, I don't know. I felt like there's a lot of friction on the phone call. There's a lot of friction for me in that phone call. Presentation of solutions, you asked a lot of conditional reports and stuff like that. Like, hey, what's the condition? What's up with the condition? Okay, cool, I'm just gonna have to come out to the property. And I think that's why it led to the fact that she said, hey, you need to bring your inspector out there. Otherwise, I don't want to get it in our contract. And obviously you closed it at 5 because you did get the appointment properly for tomorrow and walking through. And again, I don't want you to, this is just me being 100% on that phone call.
Okay.
Boom.
It seemed to me like she wasn't fully aware of the condition of the property, so it seemed like the best thing to do at that point is just like, we need to inspect this thing, see what's going on with it. But
she actually talked about the condition quite a bit.
Yeah, she talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
So, and the one thing we didn't get was the permitting. There's unpermitted work, which is the issue and it won't sell because there's unpermitted work, which is huge because we're dealing with that right now.
All right, Tyler, handle your business.
All right. So for me, intro 3.5, rapport 2.5, fact finding 3, overcoming objections 2.5, solutions 2, and a follow up 5. So I don't want to kind of harp on what Eddie was saying, but intro there was a little friction. I felt like just that one question I was like, I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but it was that one question I was just kind of threw me off a little bit. Rapport, you have to do something like make her laugh or make her feel comfortable. I don't think we ever got to that point where it was like a total like, hey, I want to talk to you. I believe in you. I think you can actually close the deal. It was more like, well, I'm dealing with these wholesalers and I just don't want you to be another one because I've gone through this a lot. Fact finding was a 3. You did get inherited. Well, you did get probate. It did need a lot of work. She did keep saying that she kept falling out or didn't want to deal with these wholesalers. A question to ask is like, well, like what happened with the wholesalers? Why couldn't they sell it at the end of the day? Then she probably would have went into the permitting and things like that. Overcoming objections 2.5. She was throwing some stuff at you and you were going through with it, but you were resorting a lot to going to the house and going to see the condition when I don't think that's a necessary step at this point. The focus should be more on what's the reason why she's looking to sell. Then once we get down to the reason why she's looking to sell, then we can actually say, okay, well, if I came out to the property, brought my inspector, is that something that would make you feel more comfortable with doing a deal with me? And she did give that out a couple times on the wholesaler thing. Solutions, there wasn't much. I gave you a 2 for that. And then follow-up, you got the follow-up, so I gave you a 5 on that as well.
Good stuff. All right, my score is 3, 2.5s, 5. Question, Jeffrey, and my guess is in your head, you probably heard a different conversation than we're scoring.
Not really, to be honest. I mean, you know, it felt a little dry to me as well. When I started going down the path of talking about wholesalers, I was like, that was the wrong thing. But, I started going down it, so I need to kind of tie that up. I need to do better at, steering the conversation with questions, obviously.
Well, I think that's a different. So let me ask you this, and I know we discussed this before, but briefly, why is it that you want to get good at this in the first place?
Well, I kind of got into this just kind of at a random, to be honest. With my first joining this meeting, I kind of got into it, sort of thing.
Sure.
But I would like to be able to, do this sort of thing. I don't know if I necessarily see myself as kind of the front man here or whatever, but I could be more like the, talking solutions person or something. I need to figure out how to talk to people. That's kind of the way I look at it.
No, and it's good, right? I think here's the summary. Like, first and foremost, for you coming, this being kind of out of the blue, not really prepping for this, and this not being your thing, you did absolutely fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's not understate that. Like, you did fantastic. The question just becomes, and I always go back to it, like, what's your goal? You can only shoot for what you want to be successful at, right? And so everybody's got different levels of success they want to reach in this game. And I think that's a reflection of the path that you take. You got to count your costs before you go on a journey. And so you just need to know how to pack, right? And that's really why I asked this question. That being said, I think the biggest thing that people need to recognize is that if I have a personality that's very distinct and specific, I have to ask myself a couple questions. One, how well does that personality mesh across a variety and a myriad of personality types? If it's naturally adjustable, then I'm probably a little bit more and better off than somebody who's naturally a little bit contrasting, right? And if I don't have one that's naturally just adjustable to every personality type, then I have to learn how to bridge that gap, right? If I go to Japan, I can't be surprised that everybody's speaking Japanese. That's the language they speak there, right? And if I speak a different language, I have to either A, understand when there is a communication gap, or B, learn to speak the language. And in your scenario, that's what I hear when I hear your calls. You have a very specific and distinct way that you communicate. The great majority of people do not communicate like that, right? The great majority don't. And as a result, what's going to happen is you're going to start hearing people say, they're going to be nice because you sound nice, but you're losing a lot of people, right? Just the great example of when you started the call saying, oh, well, let's start by discussing the stuff that's available on public record. That sounds very logical to you, but I don't think you realize how off-putting and potentially concerning that is for the average person, right? Like, that's like, wait, what do you mean you're going to start by talking about the stuff that's on public record? Either they're not going to guess what you just said and you completely just way too much information, or they're going to start getting concerned, like, what do you mean public information, right? You're just risking, but that for you makes sense. So if you want to get really good at this, brother, all I would say is just learn how to speak the language of the person you're talking to. And that starts with being able to recognize who's on the other end of that line and then tailor your language accordingly, right? I think if you do that, you have a nice enough personality and you have a soft enough tone about you that you should be able to navigate a lot, but it is going to be a twist. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch for you. Following up as the person who just gives all the details sounds logical, but I can tell you right now, most people that we talk to as sellers, if they get put on the phone with you, are going to feel extremely overwhelmed because you're going to go into a lot of details that matter to you that don't matter to the average consumer, which again goes back to knowing your audience, right? It's not what feels logical or good for you. It's what feels logical or good for them. And that's just a skill set. That's one that you can use. No question that you're going to probably do well at whatever it is you set out to in this, but those would be the feedback that I would take for you. These are learnable things. The question is, how much do you really want to learn them? And how much time are you going to put into doing that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Anybody else got any final thoughts, questions, comments, complaints? No? Jeff, do you have any more complaints about our toilet talk?
No complaints about that. I've just accepted it.
Okay, I respect it.
Yeah, Jeffrey, I think the only thing is be okay driving into that motivation and learn to ask the right questions that unlock that for you. Hey, Savannah, what is the biggest pain in the ass dealing with this thing? What is it about this house that you feel like is causing the most frustration? Those words like that what is the obstacle, what is the challenge you're experiencing, it puts the focus on her. Then now she starts to respond with, this is what sucks about this house. And then you can be like, oh my God, like no wonder. And like you do that little adjustment, and that will give you some more energy that you can reflect on. Cause I agree with Daniel. Like, I think your personality is there. Once you kind of unlock that first door of this is what I'm pissed off about with this house, then I think your personality will shine better and you'll find it easier.
Boom. All right, guys, another one in the books. It was a shorter night tonight because we had fewer people. Going to figure out the details. The next couple nights are going to be packed. We're going to be going through them quick. We're going to be going through a lot of them. It's going to be a lot more energy. It's going to be very, very fun. You guys keep your eyes peeled on the calendar or the emails to see when we are going next. I don't know when I'm doing my redo. We'll have to figure it out. Hopefully it'll be a normal situation and we'll figure it out. Obviously Jeff can't be a judge because he's biased. That being said, if you guys got any value from tonight, you enjoyed yourself, you learned anything, please go make a post, tell somebody. If you guys are going to watch Wholesale Hotline, I just put the link in the chat. All I ask is go in there, say the Closers Octagon is dope, and put your name as to who you think is going to win. Go in there and tell Pace that you are looking forward to the Closers Octagon. Go into the sub-2 group and tell Pace how much you appreciate him making space for us to do dope stuff like this. We only have a couple more weeks left on this. So guys, make the most out of it while we have it. It's going to be fun. It's going to wrap up really, really nice. That being said, Tyler, Eddie, you guys got anything else?
Thank you all for coming out.
Good
See
job,
ya
everybody. Good job, Caroline. You killed it.
Wednesday.
Eddie.
Job, Stevie, amazing job. Jeffrey did amazing, brother. Keep coming out here. Keep rocking and rolling. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, Samir, you in your bathrobe. Have a great night. Caroline, feel better. You crushed. We're going to do a lot of really, really cool things. Make sure you send the love.